Miss Karen English Teacher presents Examples of Students' Written Work. Video number 1. Grades 5 and 6. Let's review to learn. Ask yourself, what's good? What's not? Let's look at the first page. As you can see, it's an example of some work that was handed in to me, Miss Karen. At the top, we see a green arrow and it says, Yahoo! Student wrote the date. That's excellent. But, the capital letter is missing. Months in English must start with the capital letter. On the right side, we see that the work is numbered. Good. Next, we see something else that's good. Student remembered the period. Not good. Student forgot the period. Next thing, not good. Please use an eraser. Write a good copy for your teacher. Also, if work is started by skipping lines, it should continue that way. Let's look at this next page. Oh, this is good. Student wrote a specific time, Wednesday. This indicates the past tense. Next sentence says, I was very happy to saw them. I don't understand. Did you hurt your parents with a saw? I really don't think you did. Therefore, you cannot write to saw. You should just write, I was very happy to see my parents. Or, I was very happy when I saw my parents. A little grammar here. An infinitive will almost always begin with to, followed by the simple form of the verb to plus verb equals infinitive. Examples. To sneeze, to saw, to smash, to cry, to laugh, to jump, to drink, to read, to eat, to slurp. All of these are infinitives. Let's look at the next sentence here. There was in Africa. I don't understand. Do you mean they, your parents, were in Africa? How about here? This is good. This sentence is actually perfect. I saw represents the past of to see. I saw beautiful photos. That's good. And there's even a period at the end. It's very small, but I see it. Next, also good. This sentence is perfect. I jumped is the simple past of the infinitive to jump. Conclusion. Grading students' work is hard. I mean, some things were good. Some sentences were even perfect. Some rules were not followed. For example, student did not give a good copy. Some things were messy. Student did not use an eraser. Some sentences were unclear. They did not make sense. Think quietly to yourself and imagine you are the teacher. Do not answer out loud. Just think quietly to yourself. Is this work good enough for grade 5 or 6? What grade would you give this student? Let's look at the next slide here. Also, I was asking for 6 sentences in the past. Something that the student did. First thing we notice is that the work is numbered. You can see that was an example of work number 2. Good job. It says in the margin here, 6 sentence. But when we write 6 sentences, we need to remember the S at the end. It's plural, right? So don't forget to put an S at the end. All right. Good. All 6 sentences start with a capital letter. Great. Good. All 6 sentences have the pronoun I spelled with a capital. That's good. This is not an English word. You cannot put words from other languages in your text for English class. Use your resources, a dictionary or the internet, to find the proper translation of words. Next sentence. You must use a dictionary or the internet to help you spell words. Same as before. In the past tense, you cannot write this. Otherwise, it sounds like you're doing it in the present. Instead, write, I listened, which is the simple past of the verb to listen. Don't forget your period at the end of that sentence, too. Next, I do not understand. Do you mean last evening I went to rest? Or do you mean last evening I went to sleep? I'm not sure what it means. Here also, I'm not sure I understand. Is the color of the book red, or do you mean that you read a book? Because you know the color is spelled R-E-D, and to read in the past, I read a book, is R-E-A-D. Conclusion. Grading students' work is hard. Some things were good, some sentences were unclear, and they did not make sense. The student did not write the sentences in the past tense. The student did not use a dictionary or the internet to assure proper spelling. So, let's say you had to grade this work on 10. 10 on 10 is perfect. 0 on 10 is all wrong. Think quietly to yourself and imagine you're the teacher. Do not answer out loud. Just think quietly to yourself. Is this work good enough for grade 5 or 6? What grade would you give this student? Now we come up to the pink slides. Another example of some work. Please write the date for each of your homework assignments. There's no date here. Good, the student's work is numbered. This is work number 1. Good, nice salutation. Dear Miss Karen. Very simple, very clean. Good, nice start. Yesterday morning is specific. We know that the text is going to be in the past. Good. You use the past of the verb to wake up. Next, you forgot a verb here. I think you mean to say, I got out of my bed. Good. I went is the past of the verb to go. What is a kitchen? Do you mean kitchen? Why did you put a capital letter on it? And why not just take the time to use a dictionary? Good. You ate 2 toasts. Wow, you spelt this well. Ate is the past of to eat. Good. You wrote went, which is the simple past of the verb to go. What's this? The school was inside the bus? Which school was that? Next sentence. After school, I did my homeworks in my bed. I did. Did is good because that's the past of to do. But don't forget, the word homework, even if there's a lot of it, is a non-count noun. In other words, we never put an S on it. We just say, I did my homework. Next, the student wrote, after I went to the kitchen and I ate a chicken noodle soup with a cheese. You mean you didn't use a spoon? You used a piece of cheese to pick up your soup? How did you do that? Conclusion. Grading students' work is hard. Many things were good. Some sentences were even perfect. The work was neat and a pleasure to read. Some rules were not followed. For example, student did not use the dictionary for the word kitchen. And some sentences were unclear. They did not make sense. So, once again, think quietly to yourself and imagine you are the teacher. Do not answer out loud. Just think quietly to yourself. Is this work good enough for grade 5 or 6? What grade would you give this student? Let's look at another example. First, let's look at general work habits. What's the first thing you notice about this work? Does it look like a good copy to you? To me, it looks like a rough copy, not a good copy. Remember, if your teacher asks you for a good copy is what you must give her. Otherwise, you will lose marks. Do you see a title? Neither do I. I see the work very high on the page with no space at the top. Do you see the date? No, neither do I. Let's look at the first sentence. What's going on there? Do you see it underlined? Yes, so do I. But why? Do you think it's supposed to be the title? I don't think so. Students, please do not underline sentences in your text unless there is a reason for doing so. Next, let's look at all the sentences. Do they all start with capital letters? Yes, I see that they do. Great! Do they end with periods? No, not a single one. Is this acceptable for grade 5 or 6 work? No, it's not. Now, let's look at the verbs. Did the student use proper verbs written in the past? Friday, my mom and dad bought. Bought is the past tense of to buy. Good work. But don't forget, when you have two of something, you need an S at the end. It should say 2 cell phones. Next. Saturday, I did the Christmas tree. Did. Did is the past of the verb to do. That's good. You got the verb right in a way, but we don't do a Christmas tree. Instead, we would say that we put up the Christmas tree. After, we installed the Christmas lights in my bedroom. Installed. This is the past tense of the verb to install, so that's good. The next sentence, it says, the evening I watched TV. You don't have a capital there. You missed that. You have to have a capital at the beginning of every sentence. But the verb is good. It says watched. This is the past tense of the verb to watch. Good work. Also, this student erased the word the before TV. This is good because we usually say, I watched TV. We don't say the TV. Next sentence. Sunday, I went to my friend's house. Went. This is the past of the verb to go. Good work. But you need to say apostrophe S for friend's house. The house belongs to your friend. Therefore, you must write my friend's house. After, I played Wii with my family. Played. This is the past tense of the verb to play. Good work. Conclusion. Grading students' work is not easy. The good news is that the verbs were all done well. It was clear that the student used the examples provided by the teacher and/or resources, such as a list of verbs. Most sentences started with a capital, but there were no periods at the end of the sentences. Some rules were not followed. For example, the student did not write a good copy. This is unacceptable. So, once again, think quietly to yourself and imagine you are the teacher. Do not answer out loud. Just think quietly to yourself. Is this work good enough for grade 5 or 6? What grade would you give this student? Now that you know what's expected of you, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of your work in the future. Bye-bye for now.